As the shadows of the late afternoon lengthened, Ji Gang approached Jiang Chen with a measured stride, his presence commanding the room. His dark eyes glimmered with a sinister curiosity as he stared at the younger man. "Speak up, Jiang Chen," he began, his voice low and resonant. "Tell me what you're hiding." Jiang Chen's heart pounded in his chest, his palms growing clammy. He had just returned from the Dead Spirit Village, Secret Realm, an experience that had left him shaken and wary. Now, facing Ji Gang, the formidable chief of the Night Watch, he felt an overwhelming sense of dread. His voice quivered as he began to recount the events, the words tumbling out in a disjointed, nervous stream. Ji Gang's expression softened slightly, and a smile played at the corners of his lips. Sensing Jiang Chen's fear, he took a step closer and placed a firm yet reassuring hand on Jiang Chen's shoulder. The sudden shift in demeanor caught Jiang Chen off guard. Ji Gang closed his eyes and laughed, a deep, hearty sound that echoed through the room. The unexpected laughter startled Jiang Chen, and he glanced up, confusion mingling with his fear. "Even you can get nervous," Ji Gang said, patting Jiang Chen's shoulder. "What happened to the courage you showed in the Dead Spirit Village, Secret Realm?" His tone was teasing, almost playful, but it did little to ease Jiang Chen's anxiety. Beads of sweat formed on Jiang Chen's forehead, and his vision blurred as he struggled to breathe. The intense pressure of the situation made him feel as though the walls were closing in on him. He had been certain that Ji Gang would force him to reveal the secrets he had fought so hard to keep. But as Ji Gang's laughter filled the room, Jiang Chen felt a small flicker of hope. He took a deep, shaky breath, placing a hand over his chest in an attempt to steady himself. Ji Gang moved to the sofa and sat down, one arm draped casually over the backrest. He extended his other hand in a calming gesture. "Relax, Jiang Chen," he said, his voice now soothing. "I'm not trying to scare you. If you don't want to reveal your secrets now, that's fine. I won't force you." His gaze softened, and there was a hint of genuine concern in his eyes. "The more cards you have up your sleeve, the happier I will be in the future. The Night Watch will count on you to achieve new successes." The tension in the room slowly dissipated as Jiang Chen managed to calm himself. He took a deep breath, placing a hand on his chest as if to steady his racing heart. A sincere smile spread across his face, and he looked at Ji Gang with newfound resolve. "Don't worry, Chief Ji," he said earnestly. "I won't reveal anything for now, but in return, I promise to get you epic-level equipment." Ji Gang raised an eyebrow, a bemused expression crossing his face. He closed his eyes and chuckled, the sound deep and resonant. "An epic-level piece of equipment isn't easy to obtain, Jiang Chen," he replied, his voice tinged with skepticism. But Jiang Chen's determination did not waver. "I'm serious, Uncle Ji Gang," he insisted, his eyes shining with conviction. Ji Gang nodded thoughtfully, acknowledging Jiang Chen's sincerity. "Very well," he said, his tone still calm but with an edge of seriousness. "But remember, there are still things you need to explain to me." A few minutes passed in silence, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavily in the air. Ji Gang's gaze sharpened suddenly, and his expressions shifted. He raised his hand, and with a fluid motion, mana began to converge above his palm, forming a swirling golden vortex. The air hummed with energy as the swirl grew larger, pulsating with power. Jiang Chen watched in awe as the golden mana swirl expanded, his confusion growing with each passing moment. Ji Gang turned his face to look at Jiang Chen, his eyes now serious and penetrating. "It's good that you have some tricks up your sleeve," he said, "but there are still things you need to understand." With a flick of his wrist, Ji Gang sent the golden mana swirl spinning forward. It shimmered and crackled with energy before finally releasing 3 bandaged corpses onto the ground in front of Jiang Chen. The corpses landed with a heavy thud, their appearance sending a chill down Jiang Chen's spine. Jiang Chen couldn't help but feel a wave of confusion and dread as he stared at the bandaged figures. "What is this, Uncle Ji Gang?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Where did these corpses come from?" Ji Gang's gaze remained fixed on Jiang Chen, his expression grave. "These individuals," he began, his voice low and intense, "were at least 3rd transfer masters with a level of 60 or higher. Among them were even 2 4th transfer great masters, with levels above 90. The revelation hit Jiang Chen like a physical blow. His mind raced as he tried to process the implications of Ji Gang's words. "But how?" he stammered, his eyes wide with shock. "How did you get these corpses?" Ji Gang's face remained impassive, his eyes dark with the weight of the knowledge he carried. "These people were not someone even I could fight against," he admitted, his tone laced with a mix of respect and regret. I was merely at the scene of the battle to collect the corpses. Jiang Qin's heart raced as he stood before the lifeless corpses. A drop of sweat traced a path down his cheek, his eyes wide with terror. The air felt thick with an oppressive energy as he struggled to understand the scene before him. His voice trembled as he asked, "Did these guys want to kill me?" Ji Gang's expression remained calm, almost indifferent. "Stop dreaming, Jiang Chun," he replied coolly. "These men were after Mu Hanxiu. They were eliminated by her protectors." Jiang Chun blinked, confusion etched across his face. "Why would anyone want to assassinate Mu Hanxiu?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. In response, Ji Gang reached into his robes and pulled out a scroll, the parchment rustling softly. He held it out to Jiang Chun. "Read this," he instructed. Jiang Chun took the scroll with both hands, the rough texture of the parchment a stark contrast to his trembling fingers. He unrolled it slowly, the ancient paper crackling in the silence. His eyes scanned the text, widening with each line he read. The scroll was titled Daxia Genius Hunting List. The first name on the list was Ing Zhan, a level 46 individual from the Central Zone and a descendant of a 9th transfer professional. Beneath his name, it was stated that killing him would earn the assassin 3 heavenly rewards. The second name was Ji Xinyue, another level 46 individual, this time from the Demon City Zone, also a descendant of a 9th transfer professional. He too was marked for 3 heavenly rewards. The third name was Jiang Wushuang, a level 45 resident of the Jiangnan Zone, likewise a descendant of a 9th transfer professional, with 3 heavenly rewards promised for his death. Jiang Qin's eyes flicked down the list, stopping at the 12th name. Xiao Beihan, a level 41 resident of Jiangnan Zone and a descendant of an 8th transfer professional. Killing him would grant the assassin 2 heavenly rewards. The list went on, filled with names of prodigies and powerful individuals, each marked for death, each with a bounty on their head. Jiang Qian stood in stunned silence, his eyes locked on the scroll in his hands. The names on the Daxia Genius Hunting List were a foreign language to him, a roll call of unknown figures whose significance was lost on him. But as he scanned the list more closely, one name jumped out at him, Xiao Beihan. With a surprised look, Jiang Chun glanced up at Ji Gang. "Is Xiao Beihan the member of the Xiao family whose brother I recently killed?" he asked, his voice tinged with uncertainty. Ji Gang's expression turned serious as he met Jiang Chun's gaze. He nodded slowly. "Yes, Xiao Beihan is indeed a member of the Xiao family. All these people on the list are the most outstanding geniuses of their generation." He paused, allowing the weight of his words to sink in. Xiao Beihan will also participate in the Tianjiao camp held by the 8 major zones. Jiang Qin's heart skipped a beat as Ji Gang dropped another bombshell. "Xiao Beihan will be attending the Tianjiao alongside you in Jiangnan Zone." Ji Gang's expression grew even more grave. "Let me explain something to you, Jiang Qin. If someone achieves the 7th job transformation in their profession, they are considered a king protector. 8th job transformation professionals are known as country protectors. And those who achieve the 9th job transformation are considered invincible. The top 100 prodigies of Great Xia are at least descendants of 7th transfer kings." Jiang Chun felt a cold sweat break out on his forehead as Ji Gang continued. "Mu Hanxiu, being one of the 12 descendants of 7th transfer kings in Jiangnan, has only been able to occupy the 77th position on the Great Xia Genius Hunting List." Ji Gang pointed to the scroll. "It mentions that she belongs to the Jiangnan Zone, is a descendant of a 7th transfer king, and that killing her would earn 1 Xian level reward." Ji Gang's voice took on a darker tone as he explained further. Even though there were several masters trying to assassinate Mu Hanxiu due to the Genius Hunting List, they were all killed by her secret guards. You can just imagine how strong the people backing Mu Hanxiu are, and this is just the strength of a king's descendant. Now, consider the strength of the Xiao family, descendants of an 8th transfer professional. Several minutes later, Jiang Chun finished reading the entire scroll. He approached Ji Gang and returned it to him, his expression serious. "Did you show this to me so that I wouldn't be too unprepared in the Tianjiao camp?" he asked, trying to piece together Ji Gang's intentions. Ji Gang took the scroll from Jiang Qin's hand and nodded. "Yes," he affirmed. "The greater the power you display in the camp, the more danger you will expose yourself to. So, don't expose yourself recklessly unless absolutely necessary." Ji Gang's face darkened as he clenched his fist tightly and stared at the ground with a lost gaze. "The other geniuses have the backing of great powers behind them," he continued, his voice tinged with frustration. "Although you have me behind you, I am not very skilled. So far, I have only job transferred 3 times. I fear I might not be able to protect you. Jiang Chun felt a pang of guilt and moved closer to Ji Gang. I'll remember your advice, he assured him. I won't reveal my true powers in the Tianjiao camp unless I have no other choice. As Jiang Chun spoke, he couldn't help but feel a deep sense of gratitude. Ji Gang not only did not blame him for hiding his powers, but was also making great efforts to protect him. While Jiang Chun was immersed in his thoughts, Ji Gang put his hand under his chin and smiled. Everyone is talking about your performance in the Dead Spirit Village secret realm, Ji Gang said with a light smile. If I were to spread the word about what you did there, your ranking on the list would definitely be higher than Mu Hanchio's. Remembering something, Ji Gang stood up from the sofa, his expression shifting to one of curiosity mixed with suspicion. He closed in on Jiang Chen, his eyes narrowing slightly as he asked, What exactly did you do to Mu Hanchio after returning from the secret realm? His tone was probing, and his gaze was intense, as if trying to read Jiang Chen's soul. Jiang Chen stiffened, feeling the weight of Ji Gang's insinuating look. What do you mean? He stammered, trying to maintain his composure. Sweat began to bead on his forehead as he sensed the gravity of Ji Gang's question. Mu Hanchio hasn't said anything since your return, Ji Gang continued, his voice carrying a subtle edge of accusation. Her attitude has changed, and it's clear something happened. He paused, a sly smile curling at the corners of his mouth. Do you recall that in the secret realm, there were only dead spirits? I must say, Jiang Chun, your tastes seem rather strange. Jiang Chen's eyes widened in shock and confusion. What? No, I didn't, he stuttered, his mind racing to find an explanation. The insinuation in Ji Gang's words made his stomach churn. Sensing the conversation taking a direction he wasn't comfortable with, Jiang Chun quickly turned his back on Ji Gang. I need to take a shower, he said hurriedly, waving his hand dismissively as he walked away. And then sleep. I need to rest a bit. Ji Gang watched Jiang Chen retreat, a puzzled look on his face. I didn't say it was a bad thing, he called out after him, but Jiang Chen didn't stop. The chief of the night watch shook his head, bemused by Jiang Chen's reaction. As the hours slipped by and the sky darkened, the night watch headquarters fell into a quiet stillness, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. Jiang Chen returned to his apartment, feeling a sense of anticipation bubbling within him. He stood in front of a sturdy wooden table, its surface cluttered with an array of jars containing precious materials he had meticulously gathered. His eyes sparkled with excitement as he placed his hands on the table, savoring the sight of the blood essences he had acquired. He had bought 33 units of third-rank blood and 14 units of fourth-rank blood, selling off most of the equipment he had obtained from the Dead Spirit secret realm to procure these rare and valuable essences. With a joyful expression, Jiang Chen thought aloud. These blood essences should be enough for the abyssal insects to reproduce in the second swarm. Jiang Chen picked up one of the jars, carefully removing the lid to reveal the shimmering purple liquid within. He poured some of the blood onto his arm, watching as it glistened under the dim light. With a smile, he called out to the little insects resting inside his insect nest, Come out, it's time to eat. He decided to start with the refined third-rank blood, which was equivalent to the power of a human master at the third transformation with a level above 60. To extract just one jar of third-rank blood essence required hundreds of third-rank ferocious beasts. I made a great effort for this and invested a lot of money to raise you all, he said, speaking to the insects with a mix of pride and affection. In response to the scent of blood, Little Nine manifested herself, climbing onto Jiang Chen's head with her usual grace. Her eyes, now fixated on his arm, were filled with a hungry gaze. I also want to eat, she said, her voice carrying a hint of longing. Jiang Chen chuckled, looking at her with a cheerful expression. Not now, Little Nine. It's still a long way before you can reproduce again, he gently reminded her. Upon hearing Jiang Chen's words, Little Nine's expression changed drastically. Her face fell, and tears welled up in her eyes. She clung to Jiang Chen's hair with both hands, sobbing like a heartbroken child. Jiang Chen felt a pang of confusion and guilt seeing her in such distress. Little Nine, he murmured, gently reaching up to detach her from his head. He picked her up carefully and placed her on the table beside the jars. Her tiny frame looked even more fragile as she sat there, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. Seeing her pitiful state, Jiang Chen sighed deeply. All right, you can eat, he conceded, his voice soft with compassion. Little Nine's eyes lit up with joy. Thank you, master. You're the best, she exclaimed. With eager hands, she removed the lid from the nearest jar, revealing the rich, dark essence within. She inserted a straw and began to drink, her small body radiating happiness as she did. As she consumed the blood essence, Jiang Chen noticed her aura shifting. Previously, she had been at level 18, but now, as she drank, her level began to rise. He could see the subtle transformation taking place, the essence strengthening her and pushing her towards level 19. Jiang Chen turned his attention back to his own preparations. He grabbed another jar, this one containing the precious level 4 blood essence, equivalent to the power of a fourth transformed professional of level 90 or higher. Removing the cap, he poured the thick, crimson liquid onto his arm. The scent was potent, filling the room with an almost intoxicating aroma. The insects within his body stirred, drawn by the powerful essence. They emerged, crawling over his skin and eagerly drinking the blood. As they fed, a system window appeared in Jiang Chen's vision, informing him that the reproduction process of the 9 miasma wings offsprings had begun. Jiang Chen watched with a mix of fascination and satisfaction. The system window provided detailed information. Each insect could reproduce a total of between 40 and 60 offspring. His unique skill was accelerating the process, ensuring that the reproduction happened swiftly and efficiently. Minutes passed, and more insects emerged, each one latching onto the rich blood essence. Jiang Chen could feel the energy within him being channeled into these new lives. Another system window appeared, notifying him that the reproduction process had been completed. He now had a total of 100,000 offspring. As Jiang Chen stood in his apartment, his hand began to tingle and release a faint, eerie mist. The mist, composed of tiny, almost invisible insects, started to swirl around his fingers. He stared at his hand, bewildered and alarmed. He had not summoned the insects, yet they were emerging on their own. His confusion quickly turned to panic. "What's happening?" he muttered to himself, eyes widening as the abyssal insects began to pour out of his hand in a thick, dark stream. He tried to clasp his hand tightly, hoping to stop the flow, but it was no use. The insects kept coming, relentless and unstoppable. Within moments, the swarm had filled his apartment, their numbers overwhelming. They buzzed around the room, their tiny wings creating a cacophony that echoed in the confined space. Jiang Chen's heart raced as he watched in horror. The insects began devouring everything in their path. Furniture, decorations, even the very walls seemed to be at risk. "No! Stop!" Jiang Chen shouted, his voice barely audible over the droning of the insects. He clenched his fist tightly, thrusting it towards the ceiling. His face contorted with effort and desperation. "Return to the nest. Now!" For a moment, nothing happened. The insects continued their destructive rampage. But then, slowly, they began to respond to his command. The swarm turned, converging on his outstretched arm, and started to re-enter his body. The sensation was unnerving, a crawling, tingling feeling as the insects disappeared back into his flesh. Breathing heavily, Jiang Chen surveyed the damage. The once neat and orderly apartment was now in ruins. The insects had devoured a painting on the wall, leaving only tatters of canvas and a destroyed frame. A large section of his table was missing, gnawed away by the ravenous swarm. On the table, little Nine lay lazily, licking the remnants of blood from a jar. Her expression was one of pure contentment, completely oblivious to the chaos that had just ensued. Seeing her, Jiang Chen's anger flared. "Little Nine," he snapped, his voice sharp with frustration. "How could you just lie there and eat while your offspring wreak havoc?" Little Nine did not respond and continued to savor the monster's blood essence. Jiang Chen stood in his dimly lit apartment, the glow from the statistics window casting a soft blue light on his face. He turned his head slightly, summoning the window to reveal his current status. The display was a testament to his recent efforts and accomplishments, showcasing his progress and potential. Level 26. Title: Overlord of Insects. Occupation: Divine Level Spiritual Master. Divine Rank. He scanned the information, a sense of satisfaction washing over him. His talents were listed below, each one a symbol of his growing power. Talent 1. Growth of All Things. Level 1. Talent 2. Divine Evolution. Level 1. Talent 3. Ancestral Tree of All Things. These talents were the foundation of his strength, each one contributing to his unique abilities. But it was the information about Little Nine that truly captured his attention. Mother Insect, Little Nine, Level 21. Alias, 9 miasma wings. Rank, Disaster Level. Offspring Count, 100,000 units. Combat Power Evaluation, 197 stars. Seeing Little Nine's combat power at 197 stars brought a wide smile to Jiang Chen's face. Her strength had improved rapidly, almost reaching the level of a third-level master. He clenched his fist tightly, feeling the powerful energy that now surrounded his body. This is incredible, he thought, the joy evident in his expression. As he approached level 30, the anticipation of his second job transfer loomed over him. This transformation would not only enhance his own abilities, but also allow him to summon a second mother insect, one that could rival Little Nine in power and potential. He envisioned the future, where two mother insects would serve him, their combined might making him an unstoppable force. As the night deepened, Tanjin entered the Night Watch headquarters. She walked gracefully sat on the sofa. His demeanor was contemplative, a hint of worry etched on his face. "Ji Gang," Tanjin began, her voice steady but curious. "Do you really think it's necessary to involve your teacher, the Heavenly Blade King, in the matters concerning Jiang Chen?" Ji Gang looked up from his thoughts, meeting her eyes with a serious expression. He placed one hand on the armrest of the sofa and rested his chin on the other. "Tanjin," he replied, "this is a precaution. The Tianjiao camp in the Jiangnan zone is no ordinary place. Jiang Chen will inevitably cross paths with Xiao Beihan, the prodigy of the Xiao family. There, secrets are laid bare, and no deception can be maintained." Tanjin's eyes widened in surprise. "Are you suggesting Jiang Chen poses such a significant threat?" she asked, incredulously. Ji Gang sighed, his gaze shifting to the floor as if searching for answers in the intricate patterns of the carpet. "There's something about Jiang Chen that terrifies me," he admitted. "It's not just his strength or abilities. There's a darkness, a poison within him that he's hiding. If it is what I fear, it could be considered taboo." The word taboo hung heavily in the air. Tanjin's eyes filled with disbelief and a hint of fear. She remembered the tales of forbidden professions, powers so dangerous they were eradicated by decree. "Surely, you're not suggesting he has a forbidden profession?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. The forbidden professions were deemed too dangerous after the Devourer's reign 600 years ago. Anyone discovered with such abilities was eliminated on sight. If Jiang Chen truly possesses such a power, it would have been revealed at his awakening. Ji Gang clasped his hands together, his fingers intertwining tightly. His gaze was still fixed on the floor, but his mind was elsewhere, deep in thought. "I hope you're right, Tanjin. I truly do. But we cannot afford to be complacent. The repercussions of ignoring this could be catastrophic.